On Tuesday, May 25th, the state's Public Utility Commission held a site visit along a stretch of Richville Road in Manchester to gain a first-hand look at the proposed location for a more than 2,000-panel net-metered solar project. The site visit is part of a process by which such proposed projects obtain needed state permits to proceed, known as Certificates of Public Good. The 500-kilowatt project, which has been in the works for over a year and has obtained a designation of Preferred Site status for the site on Richville Road from the Town and Regional Planning Commission, would use about 3 acres of an 8-acre parcel of land to the west of Richville Road near the intersection with East Manchester Road. But it's drawn some concerns from local residents who are uneasy about the change to their views of Mount Equinox, their property values, and possible flooding from nearby Bourne Brook. The site visit was conducted by Jake Marin, an attorney who works with the Public Utility Commission.
Today's site visit is to help the Commission staff get some context and better understand the filings that we've received in this case. We've received lots of documents, lots of testimony, pictures. Coming here and seeing the site helps us better understand those documents and pictures so that the Commission can make an informed decision in the case. The purpose of today's site visit is not an opportunity for advocacy or argument about the merits of this proposal. We do want to hear from everyone who has an opinion. There are 2 ways that people can participate in this proceeding still. For the parties, people who have intervened and have been participating for some time now, they know that there's a schedule in this case and that there are briefs due on May 27th and reply briefs due on June 3rd. So if you're a party, please file your thoughts and your comments as those briefs. And if you need help doing that, I have information about how to get in touch with the clerk. If you're a member of the public and you'd like to express your opinion about this, we'd love to hear from you. There is no deadline for public comments. I would ask if you could get them in by June 3rd. That would be helpful. What we're seeing and hearing from people today is not part of the evidentiary record in this case. The decision the Commission makes will be based on the documents that are filed. So again, if you have something that you want to say to us, please put it in writing and file it with the Commission. So with that out of the way, what I'd like to ask the applicant to do is to help orient us to the site. Please, if you could just point out where is the project going to be located, what are its general limits. This is the site over here. We're standing Green Mountain Road here, the corner, looking across at the site. So it's the field you see out here, and the project goes back to the far tree line. There's a section of shrubs and trees partway across the field, and then there's another patch of hayfield. So the project goes to that back tree line. And then, and then as far as extent down this way, it goes down 1, 2, 3, approximately 4 power poles down. And we placed a stick out in the field there that's 100 feet from the traveled way. It's just over this gray car. So the closest panel to the road is 100 feet back from the road. So the vegetative screening will go just on the far side of the power line here. And then you'll have approximately 80 to 85 feet between the vegetative screening and the nearest solar panels.
But before the site visit could get underway, some of the neighbors wanted to weigh in.
So essentially what you're saying is you're going to make a decision regardless of input, but our input is appreciated.
No, sir, that's not what I said.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
It sounds like that's what it sounds like.
That's what it sounds like. Could you elaborate, please, one more time?
As I said, the Commission considers all the comments and uses that to identify the issues and concerns that the public has, and that they look at the evidentiary record to see how that information should inform their decision.
Right, but then this decision would have to be formulated, and ultimately, once you take that next step, we're not in the loop at that point, and you're basically saying this is the decision, and that's it.
Sounds like you want motions and evidence brought into which you will consider, but none of us are lawyers, so we're not able to submit those.
I can only supply my feelings, thoughts, and emotions. And short of that, I have nothing. I'm not. I have no soil samples. I don't know geographies. I can't basically do anything that would ultimately change the course of your thought process from a fact-finding standpoint. All I can tell you is I live here. I don't want it.
Yeah. Okay.
What factors are you considering to sway your decision one way or the other?
The factors are laid out in Section 248 of Title 30 in the Vermont statutes. It's a set of criteria that include environmental, aesthetic, and other economic criteria that the state has determined, or how the commission determines whether a project's in the public good.
Would it sway you either way to see a show of hands of people who would object to the panels going in over across the road?
The commission is aware that there are many people here who are objecting to the panels. We've received many public comments to that effect. So, Mr. Hearing Officer, this conversation, I think, has run its course, and it's time for us to do our site visit and to look at the site. So we're going to walk, we're going to look.
Can I ask one question?
I'll take one more, please.
If this project goes through, who's going to benefit from the power that it generates?
Not us.
I don't know, sir. That's not part of the 248 review of who receives the power from the net metering system.
Probably tell you.
So, yeah, I would turn that the applicant may be able to
I'd be
answer
happy
that.
to. Vermont has renewable energy goals. This project will supply power into the grid that will help to meet Vermont's renewable energy goals.
Green Mountain Power?
Green Mountain Power is the utility here, correct?
Why is that
So
a
basically,
benefit?
our good is being weighed against the public interest and the state criteria. That's what it seems like right now. I'm just saying, ultimately, if you're saying that the state hands down criteria to basically tell us what meets the public interest, and that's what you're judging against, and then my interests are here. Ultimately, like my interests are purely visual. That's all I care about. Ultimately,
But this is a profit-generating endeavor, correct?
Mr.
This
Hearing
isn't-
Officer,
this
we're
isn't
happy to
strictly
answer
for-
questions, but we'd like you to do the site visit and we can answer questions.
That sounds fine. We're going to take our walk now. Thank you very much.
According to documents filed with the Public Utility Commission, MHG Solar, the Manchester-based company that hopes to build the project, has stated the array will consist of about 15 rows of solar panel racks and will connect to the Green Mountain Power system, feeding the solar-powered energy into their system. Tom Hand, the developer, described what they were hoping to do.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fundamental key is we haven't received any comments about the project other than that neighbors say they don't like it. So we've, I mean, you can see in the public comments, you know, we're proposing to spend $30,000 on landscape mitigation, trees, shrubs, plants, to screen the view of the project, and there's been no comment on that. So, you know, we've done the best we can to screen it, and we're spending a considerable amount of money to that effect. But, you know, some people just don't want it, and there's nothing that we can say that would appease those folks. Well, you got to remember there's a 100-foot setback requirement from the road. So we have 100 feet of the existing field and then the vegetation we're adding, and then the panels start. So we're using about 3 acres of the 8-acre parcel.
But several of the adjoining neighbors sounded like they were far from comfortable with the idea.
I'm opposed to the project as a young family man, business owner in the community, and also the aesthetics of Vermont. If you're not here for those things, then ultimately, what are you here for? And when you take those from people knowing that you can't get them back, I'd rather have a longer process with more input, more data, and understanding, and ultimately some rewards for the local communities. If the energy is just going to go to the state and they're going to ultimately decide, that sounds more like socialism energy to me. I want some local rewards. I want some ultimately understanding that once it's gone for good. So let's take our time because everybody wants to keep Vermont.
We've had concerns from the very beginning. There have been a number of issues that have been raised. First is that it was never publicized, and probably 98% of the people in town had no idea that this was even proposed. The 2 meetings that they had before the Design and Review Board, they allowed us 15 minutes at each meeting to speak, and we were only each allowed to speak once. We couldn't get much across that way. The Select Board had a meeting, and they voted on it. At that point, nobody even knew the Select Board was meeting on the issue. And they didn't follow the town plan. The Manchester town plan has a specific section having to do with scenic byways in Manchester. Of those, Manchester West Road, Barnumville Road, and specifically listed is Richville Road. And yet, they voted that it would be okay to put that right in the middle of this field. They say it won't have any detrimental effect to the aesthetic view of this field. How can they say that when they're going to put over 2,000 panels right in the middle of the field that everyone has to look at as they drive or walk by?
The Public Utility Commission will be continuing its review of the project, and a decision on the Certificate of Public Good is still pending. For the GNAT-TV News Project, I'm Andrew McKeever.